Coming up on Good Morning Indian Country, a KU graduate student has partnered with the Haskell Cultural Center and Museum. It's a daunting task, but she welcomes the work. We'll explain just ahead.
And we'll take you to a Make Your Own Frybread event hosted by the KU First Nations Student Association and hear from students who took part in the event.
And a new music program, Rock the Res, encourages Native students in Wisconsin to learn and love music. Those stories and more just ahead. Stay with us. Welcome to Good Morning Indian Country. I'm Shia Blackcloud, and happy Veterans Day.
And I'm Allison Levering. We're coming to you live from our studio inside of Stafford Flint Hall at the University of Kansas. A documentary film telling the story of the sacred Red Rocks returned to the Kaw Nation screened on KU's campus this week. The film documents the cooperation between community and governmental stakeholders in Lawrence, Kansas, and the Kaw citizens in rematriating the sacred Red Rock to the Kaw Nation in 2024. Following the screening, GMIC spoke with the filmmaker, asking him what he hoped people would take away from the film.
And I'm a Cherokee filmmaker based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and have a production company called Pursuit Films, and we are Indigenous-owned, Indigenous-led film production company. A couple of the main things we wanted to accomplish were, number one, hearing the language. It's important. The Kansa language is endangered, like so many indigenous languages. So it was very important that we incorporated it. Is it too loud? Okay. And also, one of my big missions as a filmmaker is to show folks who maybe who are really in this Western culture, this American culture, that there's a different way of thinking about the world, and that indigenous worldview provides. It's relational, right, instead of objective. And I think, to me, a large part of my filmmaking is putting a spotlight on that perspective. I think it's really important for people to understand that our relationship with the world around us, that we are part of a system, a part of the world, and we are not separate from the world as human beings. And Juje Wahobe is a symbol of that. It's the relative, it's a grandfather, but it's not just a rock. It's everything around us. It's the trees, it's the plants, the grass, the animals. We're all related. That's something that's a big theme when I'm doing my work in film. I want people to understand that and giving them the background where they have context. Because I feel like that can heal the world. I think it can heal the world if we understand the world in that way.
Charles says increasing Native representation in film is a personal passion and mission.
I can tell you that when I first started my film company, there was a lack of representation. I mean, this was only 10, 11, 12 years ago. And that was the mission of why I wanted to make films, is to raise that representation, give people the microphone, give Indigenous people the microphone. I think we're in a much better place. The biggest problem we have in media is we haven't had the access, right? We haven't had the resources. Indigenous communities just haven't had the same resources as our counterparts. So it's starting there. It's like building capacity, literally giving people cameras and teaching them how to use it, giving them the confidence to use it, and allowing them and compelling Native peoples to tell stories from their own perspective instead of allowing others to tell it for them. And we've seen that. We've seen the change. You can't deny it. I think for a long time, Hollywood, for a while, was like, well, people just don't want to hear our stories. Well, we know now that's just not true, right? You can think of all these major shows on national TV, all these Indigenous filmmakers who have broken through. That, to me, is it's such a huge amount of progress, and we're going in the right direction. We still have a long way to go, but there are still people. There's still people out there who to deny that these are stories we're telling, or that the audiences won't listen, or they're not paying attention, they don't care about them. It's like, it's just wrong. And the more young filmmakers and the more storytellers that we cultivate, I think we're coming up in a new age. I think Native representation is going to be included in the conversation, in all the conversations in the United States.
The Spencer Museum of Art on KU's campus has a special exhibit about the sacred red rock through January 25th.
Next up, Good Morning Indian Country's Caden Baird gives an inside look at the revamping of Haskell's Cultural Center archives. Take a look.
But these are cool. I find like really weird, like kitschy stuff all the time. I'm like, what is this?
Starting from scratch can be difficult no matter the task, but with over 3,000 items in inventory, Madison Pruitt and Travis Campbell have their work cut out for them at the Haskell Cultural Center and Museum in their quest to organize and digitize the collection. Pruitt, a KU Museum Studies graduate student, received a $27,500 grant from Douglas County Conservation Council in April to document the museum's vast catalog of items, a job she could not wait to start.
I was pretty excited to get to work on this because it was something I had never really done before, like as far as the scale and the necessity, honestly, I would say.
That necessity stems from the entire original catalog being lost due to multiple museum closures in the past and mishaps during hardware upgrades, leaving a need for a new and updated system.
They came in and replaced all of the computers that had all of their records on it, all of their data on it. And so it just kind of got lost.
It had been very neglected for a number of years due to instability in staffing here and enclosures over the years. So it was really necessary to start over from square one and get an accurate picture of the collection as it is at this point in time.
Campbell believes the improved archives will bring stability and simplicity to visitors from the community, as well as researchers seeking to view Indigenous items stored at the Cultural Center.
It'll provide easier access to the materials to university researchers, visitors from the community at large, internally here within the museum. When we work with those collections, it'll make our lives much easier in the long run.
Despite the monetary award, the work will more than likely not be completed by the time the grant funds run their course. But as Campbell explains, it's a step in the right direction.
Just seeing what Madison has done already is phenomenal, but you realize when you start seeing things in that scope that there's so much more left to do.
Both Pruitt and Campbell hope to be awarded the grant next year to finish a project they consider vital to running a museum.
It's pretty important that as a museum you know what's in your collection and where things are.
For Good Morning Indian Country, Caden Baird.
Thanks for that, Caden. The Cultural Center opened in 2002 and serves the Lawrence and Native communities throughout its displays and archives of Haskell alumni and significant Native events, keeping the history of this historic institution alive.
Last week, KU's First Nations Student Association hosted a Fry Bread Dough to Go event at Haskell Light and provided attendees with a hands-on learning experience on how to make Southwest fry bread. GMIC's Lexi Urban has more.
The smell of fresh dough filled Haskell Light as students learned the art of making fry bread. The hands-on experience brought a piece of culture and community to campus.
I hope people take away from it is the sustainability aspect of it. I know with everything that's going on in the country with the SNAP benefits going away, there's a time where there's need more sustainability with food. So this is one way, our people have sustained themselves throughout generations.
Powell says the event also served as a way to give thanks and share traditions passed down in her family.
We wanted to host this event just to be able to give thanks to people, just learn a little bit about how the Southwest people in Arizona do it, and just about how the Diné people do it too.
For many students, the event was more than just cooking. It was about connection and community.
I really like being around all the FINSA members, and I grown up making fry bread and stuff, so just being able to do that together is just good bonding time.
Students say the experience was a chance to unwind, share cultural experiences, and celebrate the importance of community through food. For Good Morning Indian Country, I'm Lexi Urban.
The First Nations Student Association has many events coming up, so be sure to follow them on their social media to stay up to date.
Well, it seems to have been a little bit chilly lately. Let's see what Emma Coffey has to say about that. Emma?
Thanks, Allison. Well, those colder temperatures that we have been seeing over this past weekend and into early this week will not be sticking around for much longer. Starting on Tuesday, rising temperatures are going to continue throughout the week all the way up until this Saturday. A mix of sun and clouds are going to be pretty consistent as well throughout this week. Lots of partly cloudy skies and lots of sunshine, which might help to combat some of those cooler temperatures. Higher wind speeds as well, averaging between 11 to 15 miles per hour, but overall not looking too bad for this upcoming week. Wednesday's forecast, a rise in temperatures from what we have been seeing, high of 68 degrees, mainly sunny skies all day long with some scattered clouds starting to pop up just a little bit in the late afternoon. Lower wind speeds as well, averaging around 4 miles per hour, and while our humidity is sitting up at 54%, with those cooler temperatures, it's not going to affect too much. Taking a look at our hourly planner for Wednesday at 12 p.m., we're sitting at 62 degrees, all the way up to 66 degrees by 2 p.m., and that's pretty much where we're going to cap off for the day, is between 2 and 4 p.m. as far as temperatures, because by 5 p.m. we've dropped back down to 60 degrees, and by 8 p.m. we've dropped down to 48 degrees. Like we said earlier, sunny skies all day long with some slight clouds starting to pop up just a little bit around 5 p.m. Our nightly forecast for Wednesday, a low of 40 degrees, still warmer than what we've been seeing over this past weekend. Mostly clear skies starting out in those early evening hours, turning into more clouds, and overall a pretty cloudy night as we get into early Thursday morning. Humidity rising up just a little bit at 79%, but again, with those cooler temperatures, it's not going to affect too much. Our wind speeds are only dropping down to 3 miles per hour, so not too gusty of an evening either. Taking a look now at Thursday's forecast, again, another rise in temperature, 71 degrees, mostly cloudy skies early on in the day, carrying over from those Wednesday night clouds. But as we get further into the day, more sun is going to start to pop out, making for a pretty nice fall day. Humidity remaining pretty consistent at 57%, and our wind speeds are rising all the way up to 11 miles per hour. Perfect fall weather. Here in a little bit, we'll talk about a cold outbreak that's starting to pop up in the south and the southeast. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Emma. After the break, GMIC shares details about Billy Mills' new children's book, a new summer program, Rock the Res, and more.
Good Morning Indian Country is supported by Press Forward, the nationwide initiative strengthening communities through local news.
Welcome back. Billy Mills has been inspiring generations since winning the gold medal in the 10,000 meter run in the Tokyo Olympics 50 years ago. But the Oglala Lakota athlete has been extending his impact beyond the sports world. With the children's book, ICT's Shirley Sneevy has more.
It was a packed house at the South Dakota Book Festival. Billy Mills was back in his home state with a new book for children, co-written by Donna Janelle Bowman and illustrated by S.D. Nelson, a citizen of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. I asked him what the highlight of his trip was.
I think the highlight is just the opportunity as a Lakota to come back. And I met some young people yesterday and today that truly are taking our ancestors' comments of it'll take 7 generations to heal. And I met 7th generation Lakota youth who will take our culture, our traditions, our spirituality, along with their dream into the horizon of America to help correct the flaws and improve our democratic experiment.
The Olympic athlete is hopeful.
It's difficult to say what I'm going to, but it needs to be said. Our 3rd graders are far behind the average American in reading. And at the high school level, I have many, many schools telling me our high school students are way behind in reading. And yet, locked up within them is a resilience and a brilliance that needs to be heard. So just being able to play a little part with S.D. Nelson, Donna Janelle Bowman, with Wings of an Eagle, Gold Medal Dream of Billy Mills. I feel like as an elder, 87 years of age, that I can still make a difference. And I believe in our youth. It's not in ignorance. It's challenges they faced early in life. And we start correcting that. We've already seen our youth where they've corrected the reading concept and they caught up. And the brilliance and the resilience they bring to America.
We've also had the privilege to have Billy Mills in our own studio last week.
Where he was here, I took the opportunity to ask him what he hoped his legacy is for those following in his footsteps. Joining us now is Olympic gold medalist and KU alum, Billy Mills. Thank you for being here with us in the Good Morning Indian Country studio. We're so psyched to have you. So I've got only one question for you today. And at 87 years old, after a lifetime of breaking barriers and inspiring generations, when you look back at your time here in Lawrence, what do you feel your true victory has been beyond the gold medal?
Oh my gosh, my victory here, looking back, when I needed help, at the right time people stepped up. There used to be the paper mill, long gone, but the paper mill, either management, maybe one of the owners, I don't know, contacted the coach at Haskell. We know Billy's orphaned. If he ever needs a job, even if it's for one day, it'll have to be at night, but he can come in, he can clock in, he can work all night, he can earn some extra money. I did it here at KU, and that led me, along with other opportunities, to form our journey through life, my wife and I, and that's to pursue global unity through the dignity, character, and beauty of global diversity, and transfer that to national, local diversity. And University of Kansas, Haskell, became Lawrence, became my second home.
Definitely. And do you have any words for KU students, KU alum, Haskell students, Haskell alum, any Native youth here in Lawrence that is finding their place in this world? What advice do you have for them today?
I would say for anybody, as you start your journey through life, find the passion. My dad told me when I was young, follow your dream. It leads you down a path to where you find this passion in life. Develop your skills to equal the passion. You're doing that here. Develop your skills to equal the passion. Bring them together. Boom! Magic happens.
A rock band uses its love for rock and roll to preserve their Haudenosaunee language. ICT's Shirley Sneevy has more.
Two Haudenosaunee cousins, Rex Lyons.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And Irv Lyons.
1, 2, check.
Have been making music together for half a century.
30 miles away from home. So tired of being alone. Hope you're waiting.
They've written songs, cut albums, and won numerous regional awards in their native Haudenosaunee territory.
Too much, but these are all Sammy Awards, and it's the Syracuse Area Music Award. And
today, their latest album, White Cadillac, is positioned to, fingers crossed, earn the pair their first Grammy nomination.
Yeah, baby, I'm coming home.
That would make their mothers happy, as is only fitting in their matrilineal Haudenosaunee traditions.
My musical journey started very young. My mother had an outstanding record collection. She loved music, so I was exposed to some extraordinary music right out of the gate.
I heard music at a young age. My mom had a record collection. I was 4 years old.
My mom had Taj Mahal on vinyl, Taj Mahal, Natural Blues.
And she had a old record player with the 45, 33, 78. And I would put her singles and albums on, and that was my introduction. I listened to all of it. Chubby Checker, Johnny Burnett, from Fats Domino, Everly Brothers,
Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, you name it. I had Merle Haggard. These things were like, you can't get any better, I guess, education, to start at where everything came from.
Of course, it wasn't all roses and sunshine.
Yeah, after first, it's very. Oh, my son has an interest. Let me support that. Let me nurture that. But when it's rock and roll, it can be kind of a double-edged sword. And I remember giving her a lot of headaches and saying, "Turn that down," and.
What's the old joke? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. That's something the cousins take to heart.
So here's where the magic happens. Here, this is the band room. This is kind of give you.
They practice with their band, the Ripcords, every week. It's a discipline Rex takes partly from his career as a professional lacrosse player.
Being an athlete, I know that if you don't do your reps and you don't go to practice and get in condition, you're not going to perform to your best ability if you're not prepared properly. So if you do your reps and you have the muscle memory, you've done all of your reps and you're prepared properly, when it comes game time, show time, you're able to do it at a much higher level.
And let their indigenous sensibilities take wing.
It's something that's very inherent in Native people. We love music, and it's something you go around the world. We love music. I mean, it's the heartbeat. It's a pulse. There's algorithms there, and I think they go very deep with indigenous people.
Music will transport you to a place that is peace and safe. And then I especially like the summer playing gigs because we get to play in the natural world. So when you mix the natural world with music, when you're outside, what the Creator gave us, and the mixture of that, playing music and being in the natural world, it's ethereal. It's sublime.
Rock the Res, a summer program in Minnesota, is working to bring music to Indigenous youth. It provides free music lessons, community, and representation, hopes of supporting the love and learning of music and students. ICT and PBS have more.
The sound of drums, guitars, and keys drift from a building on the east side of St. Paul, Minnesota. But peek inside and you'll see this is no ordinary garage band. This is Rock the Res, a summer camp for Indigenous girls and gender-diverse kids.
We want them to feel strong and let them know that they have a voice. We'll get the snare going and then we'll get the hi-hat going.
April Matson, who is Sachangu Lakota and Athabaskan, has been the executive director here since 2019.
Indigenous, Two-Spirit, LGBTQ girls, they're so overlooked and representation is low to none. And so this is our way of helping them to take up space, and hopefully they take that courage and they put it into everything that they do.
10 campers from around the Twin Cities attended the session we visited in August.
Could you hear yourself better?
Maureen O'Brien was teaching kindergarten on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota when she came up with the idea to start the camp in 2016.
Music really wasn't like an extracurricular, very much, at least at the school that I was at. So music wasn't as accessible.
O'Brien, a self-taught musician, also wanted to promote the idea that anyone can pick up an instrument and jam.
So it's kind of like breaking down the third wall of, you can't do this, maybe you don't see folks that look like you, or you're not trained classically. I liked that.
There are now 5 Rock the Res camps, including 3 new camps in Minnesota that launched this summer. The program is free of charge thanks to grants and donations, and the band coaches are mostly volunteers.
Most of the campers who come in have no music experience, or they've played another instrument, but they've never played this instrument.
The campers we met formed 2 bands and spent a few hours each day learning the instruments and parts they chose, working up to a public concert at the end of the week.
Well, it's a little bit scary, but it's more fun actually.
Raina Spears, who is Ojibwe in Dakota, was the lead singer of the younger band, which called itself Little Rockers with Spirit.
I just get sometimes too excited that I try to go really fast, but I know I have to follow the other instruments and they have to follow me too.
Spears wrote the lyrics for her band song.
Gotta write how I get into the light, and what I mean by that is gotta write how I get like courage. So you can like show who you really are.
3, 4. We're kind of like fighting for our voices to be heard and for a change.
Aaliyah Hansen, who is Red Lake Ojibwe, led her band called Kamimila, which means butterfly in Dakota. Their song was filled with historical and social messages.
This is where it started. We are taken from our homes. When we come back, we have nowhere to go. Frame us as addicts, blame us and laugh, but when the white man leaves, you better hope he don't come back. I think it's very powerful and it goes very deep into Native culture.
I wrote some things down.
The songs were written collaboratively by the campers. The band coaches encouraged and facilitated, but otherwise got out of the way.
We all are seen equally and we're all respected. I'm an introvert, so it's hard speaking up, but here, I'm pretty loud here. And I like that I get to like actually interact with people and not feel afraid.
This is the only urban Rock the Res camp. The others are held on or near reservations. So some of these campers come from communities where there aren't a lot of other Native kids.
At school, I just feel kind of left out on my culture. So here, I feel like I belong more.
When people think of Native, they think of like those like old photos that are like yellow and like wearing, and it's some chief guy. But we're not that anymore. We're still here, you know.
Workshops held each day, like this Dakota language lesson, gave the kids a chance to dive deeper into indigenous cultures. And there were musical performances every day after lunch. Lakota recording artist Tiana Spotted Thunder sang the day we were there.
Showcase your skills. Showcase your talent.
Then, after a week of pep talks and practicing, the final day arrived. The campers got themselves and each other all glammed up and headed to a park down the street to perform the final showcase for their friends, family, and community.
Welcome to the Rock the Res Showcase.
The name of our song is Singing to Our Hearts.
Empowerment's a huge part of it. I hope that they are proud of themselves and feel like accomplished by the end of it, because it's a pretty big feat to write a song and perform it in a matter of 1 week.
Being lost in history, being cheated of our treaties.
And if anything, they can look back and say, oh, I performed in front of a bunch of people, because it can be really scary, but they are being so brave.
Thank you for coming.
Up next, Emma Coffey has our national weather forecast for the upcoming week. Emma, how's it looking?
Thanks, Allison. Well, switching over from those slightly warmer temperatures we were seeing a little bit earlier in Lawrence, dozens of daily records have been tied or set during a cold outbreak earlier this week. Talking specifically about the south and the southeast, a pretty significant drop in temperatures over the course of this early week. Some key temperatures to take note of that were either tied or broken in record lows. Charleston, South Carolina dipped all the way down to 29 degrees. Those 20-degree temperatures also made their way to Georgia and even over to Mississippi. Talking specifically about Florida now, lots of records shattered and tied. Orlando, Florida had a high of 36 degrees. Key West, Florida had a high of 57 degrees, which might not seem too chilly to us here in Kansas, but to Florida, it is pretty cold down there. St. Petersburg, their initial record was 44 degrees, dropped all the way down to 38 degrees Fahrenheit on Wednesday morning. Continuing with that, another freeze is possible to hit that Florida and southeast area on Wednesday morning. 31 degrees is the expected temperatures for Gainesville, pretty similar also over in Jacksonville. And down further south, 42 and 39 degrees is expected to be those highs. But that isn't expected to last as well, as throughout the course of Wednesday, our temperatures are rising back up. Here we are close to Kansas City, a high of 66 degrees. Overall, pretty nice temperatures. And down in Florida is rising all the way back up to 69 degrees by end of day Wednesday. Temperature outlook for the rest of the week, pretty much rising back up to normal down in the south and the southeast, all the way back up to the above temperature outlook, which means that while right now it's predicted to be a certain temperature, more than likely it's going to be a little bit higher than that. So just a slight cold outbreak is starting to make its way through the more southern areas of the U.S., but they're not going to stick around for very long. Zooming back over to Lawrence, Kansas, like we said earlier, Wednesday we have a high of 68 degrees with those mostly sunny skies. We're going to continue to see a rise in temperatures all the way until Saturday, a high of 75. That's pretty much where we're going to be capped off for the foreseeable future, as by Sunday we've dropped back down to 56 degrees, staying in those mid-50 temperatures all the way up until next Tuesday as of right now. Those clouds and that sunshine is going to start to kind of take turns throughout the day. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies. By Thursday, we're going to be seeing some clouds in the morning, transitioning into more sunny skies in the late afternoon. Those sunny skies are going to continue all the way into Friday, mainly sunny skies all day long. And by Saturday and Sunday, a few clouds are going to start to pop up before next Monday. We're expected to see the return of some showers. Also pretty consistent are our lows. 40 on Wednesday, up to 48 and 56 on Friday, but by Saturday and Sunday, we've dropped back down to a low of 37 degrees. Well, that's all we have for weather this week. Back to you, Allison and Shia.
Thank you, Emma, for always keeping us up to date on everything weather.
Coming up next, we go in depth on Sydney Benali, a basketball player from BYU, an update on Haskell cross country, and much more. See you after the break.
Thank you to the Henry Luce Foundation for their support of Good Morning Indian Country.
Welcome back to your weekly recap of sports all over Indian Country. I'm Millie Favela. The men's and women's cross-country teams from Haskell ran off with the Continental Athletic Conference championship title this weekend for the second year in a row. The men's team had the top 5 team finishers to record a perfect score of 15 points. Haskell's Javen Hale also won the CAC Runner of the Year. The Lady Indians tallied 22 points to take the win over Florida National's 34 points. As CAC champions, both teams will advance to the NAIA National Championship next Friday in Tallahassee, Florida. Haskell men's basketball hosted the Ernie Stephen Jr. Classic this past weekend. The Fighting Indians had a strong weekend and went 2-1 in the Classic, beating Park University and 4 wins, but falling to Baker. Haskell was awarded as the top scoring and most aggressive defense of the Classic, averaging almost 81 points and 11 steals per game. Jesse White was awarded as the player of the game in all 3 games he played this weekend. The 6-foot junior made the all-classic team, averaged roughly 27 points, 6 rebounds, and almost 5 assists per game. The Fighting Indians will take on Park on Wednesday, Mission on Saturday, and Oral Roberts on Tuesday. The Haskell women's basketball team had 3 road games this past week. On Thursday, the team lost to Oral Roberts 92-50 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The ladies were triumphant against Our Lady of the Lake University 64-55 in San Antonio, Texas on Friday. The Lady Indians took a loss to Texas A&M at San Antonio 71-54 on Saturday. The team will head to Jefferson City to play against Lincoln of Missouri on Monday. Navajo native Sydney Benali began her season at BYU this year. The 5'9" freshman scored 8 points, 11 assists, and 6 steals this week, marking the first time a BYU player has recorded 10 assists in a single game since Shaylee Gonzalez in 2022. Before her time at BYU, Benali was a 2-time Nabi champion and MVP, and the first female Nabi ambassador. That's all the sports we have for you this week, but make sure to stay tuned after the break for a roundup of some local events.
Good Morning Indian Country is supported by the University of Kansas William Allen White School of Journalism and Mass Communication.
Welcome back, and here's your roundup of local events happening in Lawrence. Native American Heritage Month is upon us, and Haskell would like everyone to show your cultural pride and wear your ribbon shirt, ribbon pants, ribbon skirt, or your tribal attire every Wednesday this month. Today and the rest of the week gives you a chance to rock your mocks, so show up and show out.
Students at Haskell are invited to come together for a little gratitude and good vibes at the Thankful for Thanksgiving event hosted by the Haskell Education Club. This event happens Wednesday, November 13th from 5 to 7 p.m. in Parker Hall, room 139. So bring a dish to share for the potluck dinner, make a vision board, enjoy some time to study, and connect before the holiday break.
This Wednesday, November 12th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Haskell Light will be hosting a health fair, starting with an opening prayer by Jeremy Shield. There will also be offering information from Indian Health Services, health support, nutritional, professional, and educational information. There will be a talking circle from 1 to 2 p.m. by Manny and Shelley. There will also be food provided thanks to Merck and McAllister's. Door giveaways and raffle drawings will also be there, so come sign up. And if you're aching or just need relief, HINU's housing department will be providing chair massages, so come on out.
Thanks for watching this episode of Good Morning Indian Country. Another thank you to Press Forward, the Henry Luce Foundation, and the William Allen White School of Journalism for their support of our work.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Good Morning Indian Country. As always, Good Morning Indian Country, stay good, and we will see you next week.